I recently reviewed the Xiaomi Redmi Note 4. It has a great price at $200 or less. It has great screen, it has great performance, and it has premium looks. Everything you want in a budget flagship smartphone. Well, we have another offering from Xiaomi in the house today. It's the Xiaomi Pro Prime. It has a better screen, it's AMOLED, and it has a better processor. Let's find out if it all adds up to a buy. Hi, my name's Andrew, and this is the review of the Xiaomi Redmi Pro Prime. Let's find out if it's worth your money. Xiaomi's been making a lot of waves lately by offering phones with premium looks, decent specs, and very low prices. Let's find out if their latest offering, the Redmi Pro Prime, has what it takes to compete in that space. What you get under the hood is the Mediatek Helio X25 processor. It's a Deca-core processor that runs at 2.5 GHz. And it has the Mali T880 GPU. It has 3 GB of RAM and 64 GB of onboard storage. It comes in at around $280. I picked it up from GearBest.com. I'll put the link below to where you can find out more information. It weighs 6.14 ounces, is only 0.32 inches thick. It feels good in the hand, it's thin, it's light, and it has that premium look with its all metal back and glass front. Just one look at it, you realize it's a very premium looking phone. It definitely doesn't look like a $280 smartphone, that's for sure. The package arrived via DHL. The packaging is elegant, it looks nice, and it has a nice presentation, what we've been expecting and seeing out of Xiaomi as of late. Opening the box, you're greeted by the Redmi Pro itself, and it looks very elegant, obviously, in the packaging. It also comes with a screen protector. I did not install it as of yet, and it also has a SIM ejector tool. And you have your USB Type-C adapter in the box, and it's good to see USB Type-C, as the Redmi Note 4, which I recently reviewed, had micro USB, a data technology. And unlike the Redmi Note 4, there is no quick charge on this device, a big miss. Overall, good job on the packaging and out-of-box experience. The star of this show has to be its 5.5-inch AMOLED display. It has a resolution of 1080 by 1920, that's 401 pixels per inch, and it gets bright at 408 nits. Now, since this is an AMOLED display, it will have the inky blacks and the very vibrant punchy colors. Rather than use Gorilla Glass, Xiaomi decided to use 2.5 arc glass. It is pretty strong, as I did drop this device onto concrete, and there's only a hairline fracture in the upper right hand corner to show for it. On the front of the device, you have your home button, which is also your fingerprint sensor. Now, the fingerprint sensor did work well, registered my finger without any issue pretty much every time. But I do prefer to have the fingerprint sensor on the back, just like the Redmi Note 4, something I wish this had as well. On the bottom of the device, you'll find your mono speaker. We'll talk more about the sound later in this review. And you have your USB Type-C. This is where you charge your device. Now, it's good to see USB Type-C because the Redmi Note 4 used micro USB, a data technology. And of course, you have your microphone over there. On the top of the device, you have a 3.5mm headphone jack, sorry iPhone fans, and an infrared port to control TV in your living room and the like. Moving along to the side is your dual SIM tray. It houses dual SIMs and it's dual standby, and one of the SIMs can be exchanged for an SD card slot for storage expansion. Nice touch. And on the other side is your volume rocker up and down and your power button. Xiaomi decided to put dual cameras on the back of this device. The main shooter is a 13-megapixel f2.0 Sony sensor. The secondary camera is a Samsung sensor at 5 megapixels f0.95. That's to give the bokeh effect. And the results were a mixed bag. Here I tried to get that bokeh effect at the f0.95. It was okay. Here you can see this plant. Photos were decent, didn't do great in low light situations, and I didn't expect it at this level of device. Now, this video is shot with HDR on automatically, and it did not have any optical image stabilization, a big miss in my book. Here, as you can see, this 1080p 30 frames per second video was okay. Again, low light situations were not ideal. Outside, not much better. And again, a low light situation, it didn't perform that great. Now, because it doesn't have optical image stabilization, you're going to see the shakiness, certainly not ideal. Now, on the front, you have a 5 megapixel shooter that shoots 1080p, and it has some interesting gimmicks for selfies, and Here you can use your age, depending where you put it, shows you how you'll look as far as age is concerned. You want to make yourself younger, this camera may be able to do it. It worked okay. I think it's a little bit gimmicky. Again, it's serviceable when you want to take selfies, when you want to do Skype or video conferencing in a pinch. I wasn't expecting to be blown away by the speaker on this device, since traditionally Chinese smartphones really don't have the greatest sound in the world. It lacks some bass and the mids were okay, but overall I would say this is certainly a serviceable speaker, and the 3.5mm headphone jack worked well with little interference, so plugging in some headphones will be fine. As far as performance is concerned, here's how the Redmi Pro did on the Geekbench 4.0 test. On the multi-core score, it did a 4261, not bad. The Mali T880 did a 2795 on the render script score. For you gamers out there, on the iStorm Unlimited score, it did 14,749, pretty good. And on the iStorm Extreme score, it did 9,079, again, not bad. This is not going to be a blazingly fast device, but it is certainly serviceable and you can do some gaming. And speaking of gaming, it did 59,587 on the Antutu benchmark test. I was, however, disappointed in the 2,118 it scored on the Octane 2.0 score, a rather disappointing figure indeed. The Redmi Pro runs Android 6.0.1, which is Marshmallow, and it runs the MIUI skin, which is MIUI 8.0. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of MIUI, as I stated earlier, and in my Redmi Note 4 review, and I'm more of a fan of side-loading the Google Pixel Launcher, which I did on this device without any problems. I will put a link below on how you can do that. Now, the version I'm using is the Chinese version. There is an international version which has the Google Play Store. This particular variant did not, and I had to sideload the Google Play Store. I'll put the link below on how to do it. It was not incredibly difficult. Actually, it's rather easy if you know what you're doing. The Xiaomi Redmi Pro did very well on our battery test. In fact, it did really well. Here's the deal. On the AMDtech endurance test, it did 12 hours and 49 minutes on video playback. Very good. It did 11 hours and 36 minutes on web browsing and had a screen on time of 5 hours and 14 minutes. These stellar scores are attributable to its 4050 mAh battery. Unfortunately, there's no wireless charging due to its all-metal back, and there is no quick charge as you find on the Redmi Note 4, a big miss in my opinion. But overall, outstanding battery life on this device. Now, this phone is very similar to the Redmi Note 4, which I recently reviewed. I'll put the link below. And the only difference being is that it does have USB Type-C, something the Redmi 4 does not have, and it does have an AMOLED display. Something to keep in mind if you're deciding between these two Redmi phones. So can I give the Xiaomi Redmi Pro Prime a buy recommendation? And the answer is yes. Here's what I like. Love its beautiful AMOLED display, its metal chassis and sleek design, love its long battery life, its dual camera setup in the back is somewhat interesting, although the execution could be better. I love its fast fingerprint unlock, dual SIM with micro SD support, and I like its great price. But at this price point, you're going to have some compromises. Here's what I don't like about this device. First, I'm not crazy about its average camera performance. Its lack of 4K video is very disappointing. It didn't do well in low light situations, and it doesn't have wireless charging, and it doesn't have quick charging, something that the Redmi Note 4 does have. But with those negatives aside, I have to say this is one of the best phones you can get under $300, especially with the fact that it has a beautiful AMOLED display. Simply outstanding. It has decent performance and really premium looks, but it doesn't have the high price to match, something I really like. And that's why I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. So what do you think about the Xiaomi Redmi Pro Prime? Do you like its AMOLED display with its inky blacks and its vibrant, punchy colors? Do you like the fact that it has decent performance, all for the price of less than $300? I think it's a real steal in my opinion. Anytime you can get an AMOLED display that looks that good onto a phone less than $300, you're going to have to pay attention to it. And that's exactly what I think you should do. But I'm curious to know what you think. Leave a comment in the comment section below. I am curious to know what you think about this offering from Xiaomi. And speaking of Xiaomi, coming very soon to AMDtech is the unboxing and review of the Xiaomi Mi Mix. It's the concept phone, the 6.4-inch virtually bezel-less smartphone that Xiaomi recently released along with the Mi Note 2. and I'm curious to get my hands on it because it has some very future-thinking specs. I love that bezel-less design, and I'm curious to see how it will perform in real-world usage, so stay tuned for that. Also coming very soon to AMDtech is the showdown between the 2016 MacBook Pro 15-inch edition with the Touch Bar and Touch ID, and I'm going to compare it to the XPS 15 from Dell. Also coming very soon is the showdown between the 2016 MacBook Pro and the Dell XPS 15. I'm also going to revisit the Dell XPS 15 in the 5th installment of our series, Is It Still Worth It?, where we take a look back at the gadgets and devices released over the past year or so, see how well it's held up over time, and see if it's still relevant today. And perhaps more importantly, whether or not there's been a significant price drop. So I'm going to do that along with the showdown between the XPS 15 and the MacBook 2016. So stay tuned for that. So please hit the like button. Please subscribe. Please share this video. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know how I'm doing. Let me know if there's a device or something out there you think I should review. I will certainly do my best to make that happen. So until next time, this is Andrew from AMDtech. See ya.